Hey, everybody. It's Charlie Fibrosis. So, um, we got some stuff to talk about. Let's get into it. So, as a lot of you guys know, NASCAR 25 is coming out. Just kind of fill in as to where we have gone on this whole entire pathway. Um, we knew that the game was coming out at the beginning of the year. We did not have an idea as to when it was going to come out. Some early initial trailer stuff did get dropped, and a lot of people were concerned about it, and justifiably so. I do kind of have some inside knowledge a little bit on it. Um, Thankfully, though, that is not what the game looks like. The 30 FPS looking uh, William Byron Bristol trailer was not reflective necessarily as to what the game looks like. And then later on, we got dropped that, hey, the game is coming out on October 14th to consoles, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S, if I remember correctly. Initially, no announcement as to when Steam was going to get their release, and then it was dropped shortly thereafter. Oh, hey, on PC, Steam is going to be supported, and it comes out almost a month later on November 11th, 2025. And since then, we've thankfully gotten a lot of additional stuff. We've gotten some gameplay not gameplay trailers, but gameplay footage from some people like, the NASCAR 25, the game crew. They had Anthony Alfredo come out. Jeff, I'm going to butcher this. I'm going to try very, very hard. Jeff Faviano. He actually has a really good video, and we're going to be using that as part of us. I don't have any footage myself, so we're going to borrow Jeff's video to show what NASCAR 25 looks like there, and I'll be sharing that here in a minute. There's a couple of tweaks I need to do. By the way, if we do get a "We Will Be Right Back," I promise you it'll be only for a few seconds. I'm just messing with something in the background and setting that up. So, yeah. Beyond all that, let's just simply talk about it. So, I actually went ahead and earlier tonight I did a recording for my own stuff. I saw that Jeff's video was taking place at Worldwide Technology Raceway. I still would just prefer to call it Gateway to make it simple. And what we know, a few different things that I know about the game from seeing other content creators talk about is that right now, both Mexico City and Portland are not in the game. There is rumor that Mexico City might be included in the DLC. I actually forgot to mention this off the get-go. For the standard version of the game, it's $60, and for the PC, for the full version of the game, I'm actually going to look this up real quick. When I say full, I mean the season pass. That's right. The season pass is $25. I believe that you can get it all for $80. I am going to double check that. Double checking that. So yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, on Xbox it's saying you can get NASCAR 25 for $60, $59.99 plus, or you can get the Gold Edition, which is $79.99. And what that includes is the DLC and everything. which the DLC is going for like $25, like I said. Now, to me, I'm not really all that bothered by it. On its face, I'm actually kind of surprised and happy that this first game is going to be coming in at $60 in today's day and age, especially with how Nintendo has been treating things. $60 feels like in the AAA market a godsend. So I'm very surprised that everything is working there. I I'm a little I'm both surprised and I'm not surprised in terms of the season pass, the DLC stuff, being $25. It's a little elevated there, but it is kind of nice that you do have the option of making a purchase of the standard edition and seeing if you like it, and then the gold edition, which will include season pass, so you'll get all that DLC as it comes out for free, if you have the gold edition. That is. I don't think that there's been any mention or any announcement of like, oh, if you buy the season pass, then you will be able to get like the first season, so to speak, but you won't be able to get the second season, which would be like an extension. Even though this game, to my knowledge, is definitely going to be a yearly release, so we'll kind of see how that goes. I am gonna pull up Jeff's video. I'm going to make a couple of tweaks real quick, and we will go there. Give me just a moment. So, uh, all right, give me just a moment. There we go. So here's Jeff's video, and then I'm going to show you my video. I don't know if y'all will be able to hear any audio associated. I'm going to try and figure that out. I've gone ahead and fast forwarded to 9 minutes, 19 seconds in the video. Essentially, as it goes, oh, there we go. Got me right here. There we go. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, this is just a video. I'll see if I can really get audio working on here. It's been a while since I've messed with any of this stuff, so we'll go with that. But yeah, let me get it playing, and I'll talk about the video. Now, I do want to say I do apologize if the video quality is not as good. Please, by all means, I want to make this clear. Go see Jeff's video. Go see Jeff's video because it's going to look a lot better than what I've got on stream right now. We're just trying with this. But let's go ahead and get it playing. So, all in all, the game looks really solid. The graphics look really, really crispy. I am going to get that audio up. There we go.
One high.
I'm going to turn it down a little bit. So now you guys can hear it. So, this is what it all looks like. I'll move myself actually out.
Stay low. They're outside. One outside. Clear high if you want it.
Here we go. We'll just drop me right down here. So, the way that this game looks is, it looks really, really solid. From what I've seen, even from the Alfredo video, apparently you can run different lines throughout. Cars actually look pretty darn good. In my Heat 5 video that I'll be showing in a little bit, like, honestly, the driving, well, not the driving, but the gear change, the need to shift between 4th and 5th, that seems pretty accurate with the next-gen car. But more than anything, like, that's the best way I can describe this. You can see the car kind of twitch a little bit on exit, like in a good way. Like it's not tracked on rails, and you can kind of run different lines there, and it'll affect the way that your car is handling. With my own video, which we'll be seeing in a little bit, like, yeah, the cameras look solid. Now this is only a 10-lap race, and I'm only going to show you the gateway race, so we can have about an even one-to-one comparison here. But I mean, yeah, the user interface looks really, really clean. It'll be interesting to actually see, like, one thing that they haven't mentioned is where you get to pick with the choose cone. If a caution comes out of the stage ends or anything like that, will you get to pick outside or inside, or do you get flush with wherever the default line would be, you know? If you're starting even, or you're starting inside, if you're starting outside, or if you're starting, sorry, if you're starting odd, or you're starting inside, if you're even, or you're starting outside, who knows? The sound of the engines is pretty solid, all things considering, especially when you get up against the wall. Camera, this is where I gotta give iRacing Studios a big heads up and a big applause. The camera looks very similar to iRacing in a good way. For the first cockpit cam, I'm more likely to use the roof cam like I have with most other racing games that I run nowadays, but we will probably run the cockpit cam for some races when 25 comes out. I mean, there has been a little bit of criticism that the game looks very, like, people have been calling this NASCAR Heat 6. And to be completely honest, on one hand, I kind of get it. I really do. The UI is, like, a lot cleaner overall. But I don't think that, visually, I don't think it really looks all that bad. Let's see here. Looks like Ryan Blaney is leading in Jeff's video as he's driving around with Kyle Busch. And they're spacing out a decent amount, like kind of what I would expect from a place like Gateway. It's dives it to the inside. Almost hits the 17 car. I mean, all the information that needs to be there, at least before you throw up, like, the telemetry data and everything like that, like checking your damage and stuff like that, it's a good UI. I like the fact that you can see points of positioning up at the top. I like that you can be able to see laps to go, and I actually really like the fact that they include the race info, the event sponsor in the upper right over there. The throttle, RPM, speed, gear selection, everything like that. 17 is going to get by there. You know, it looks next gen and everything like that. It looks accurate to what it is. And then I'm fine with the track map being where it is, so.
Good finish, driver. We'll take a top 20.
There you go. And I'll actually pause this real quick. I actually really like the user interface on this too. You know, it's got the manufacturer, it's got the full driver name, it's not abbreviated. Like, it looks clean. Now, I mean, the way that it goes either way is that, I mean, this game is made by iRacing, but it's iRacing Studios, which has a majority of the Monster Games staff on it. But the thing is I don't really have a problem with that. For me, for all that I feel, the NASCAR the NASCAR Heat games weren't perfect, but I liked playing them. I thought that 5 was in a solid direction. Um, Unfortunately, you had the whole motorsports games thing blow up, and that all happened. And unfortunately, NASCAR 21 ignition. Let me say this: NASCAR 21 ignition would not run on my computer. I tried running at Atlanta with Ryan Blaney, and no, the game would crash like not even seconds after starting a race at Atlanta. And I tried with that game at least 2 to 3 times, even when it was as low as $5 on Steam. Nope, 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 nope. Would not work. So yeah, with all of that, I mean, by the way it seems to me, at least visually and everything like that, it looks good. Um, it may look kind of similar to Heat 5 in a certain sense, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Um, yeah, I think what they've got for the base of it looks pretty solid. I'll give me just a moment real quick. Be right back. Okay. So this is the NASCAR 25 gameplay preview with Anthony Alfredo off of the NASCAR 25 game uh YouTube channel. I'm going to make an adjustment. And we'll go ahead and play it here. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. I'm going to go ahead and mute this real quick. But, like, okay, he touches the wall and everything like that. But I, yeah, well, they're going to switch it over to race here in a second. Okay, here's perfect. I think the design of everything in terms of the pre-race stuff looks great. I know it's just a cut scene, and there's a part of me that does kind of wish that they had an MRN from like NASCAR Thunder 2003, NASCAR Thunder 2004 type presentation, but I'm fine with that. This looks great. This looks great. All right, so here we go. They're getting ready to do some racing. Um, Apparently you can be able to run different lines on this in this game, and when you hit the seams you can sort of feel the difference and everything like that. Different lanes, especially with progressive banking, definitely has a different feel and everything like that. And going back to the UI, like, okay, the driver names above the head and everything like that, or above the cars, I think that that's fine. I personally will probably turn them off when I eventually get the game, except for maybe a few series or so, because I'm not the most familiar with some of the driver roster. Um, but the fact more than anything that there's flexibility with uh, the ratings, both the ratings and also the amount of assists that we've got. I think that's going to make things better, all in all. Um, I'm going to show you this here in a little bit, which is my video. I do kind of have it set up more or less that there's no assists and everything like that. Started last, I think, and managed to drive my way up into the top 5. Uh, didn't mess with the setup or anything like that. And I'm racing on wheel. That's the other piece of it. Um, but I don't exactly know as to if that was the right, like if that would be the right way to run the track and everything. So, okay, so the chase cam, secondary chase cam, that looks pretty good. My only criticism is I wish it was a little bit higher. Solid roof cam, very solid roof cam. That feels comfortable to me. A cycle out. I mean, yeah, the corners definitely have a little bit of twitch at the exit of the corners, and I think yeah, there's the proper roof cam. Uh, the corners have a little bit of twitch right at the exit, and I think that that's accurate. Like, especially for like the Xfinity car, bumper cam's kind of disorienting. The end car sounds great. Sounds pretty solid. Like I said, like the cockpit cams and the roof cam of the two to three that I'm going to be using anyway. But I really like the look of this. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause on this because I am going to go ahead and switch over to my video that I have done. You guys will get to see that in a second. Give me a moment. All right, here we go. And then turn that on. And I gotta make a minor adjustment here. All right, I may not be able to get the audio up, which kind of sucks. Okay, uh, I mean things don't look great because I am playing it through the Windows game setup and everything. Yeah, FPS ain't great in this, but I mean I'm trying my best to like wheel it and everything like that. I'm staying in cockpit to kind of just hear what the sound looks like. I'm gonna see if I can fix this real quick. Uh, Alright, let's see. Well, I'm trying. Alright, let's get back to it. So, Don't know if y'all can hear it or not, but I mean, I'm kind of doing the same thing as what they were doing in NASCAR 25. Now, I'm not good at Gateway. I don't really know how to get around here, but effectively looking at it, like the look of the 25 footage and everything like that, like you can, I can already see this here. The central uh, dashboard, uh, tachometer, and everything like that is elevated up in NASCAR 25 and everything like that, which I guess is accurate to what the cars are now. I would assume it is. Uh, NASCAR 25, sorry, NASCAR Heat 5 only has the 2022 season, so 3 years out on this car. No, no, yeah, 2022. Because it only has the Daytona cars. But like, I'm trying to get around here, even though I'm not great at it. Um, Smack the wall. Now, something that does make me curious on either end of the spectrum is that, so I know that they haven't shown a lot of damage and stuff like that, and I do kind of wonder if they have a damage multiplier slider going on, because I could see how in certain cases a hit like that to the wall could potentially break the toe link. So I don't exactly know how. Yeah, right there. I hit the corner of the safer barrier. I have no idea if they are going to be that in depth with damage and everything like that. I kind of hope that they are. Um, but yeah, I mean, to me, the general mood is like, okay, does it have some elements of like the Heat games? Yeah, but I don't think that the Heat games necessarily look bad by any means. Um, I'll go ahead and scrub through my footage a little bit. We'll get, yeah, let's see. Here we go. Here we go. So yeah, I can show this real quick. So before we go, I do have this game set on hard, manual transmission, brake smoothing, position and name, hide cockpit wheel off, disable rivals in career mode off. AI difficulty is set to 97. I think if I remember right, these videos were mostly taken at 95 difficulty or so. So by that means, I have a feeling that the game is actually going to be a little bit much harder, which is good. Damage is set to full. Waist length is 25%, so it is a little long. Oh, did not mean for that to happen. Here. Oh, here we go. Uh, AI difficulty is set to custom at 97. Full damage, 25%. I didn't realize this, but I set the fuel and tire wear to ×4. Player weight, wear, player tire wear rate, and player tire grip fall off are set to normal. And then flags strict, all yellow. All flags strict yellows. Multiple race stages and quick qualify. Because I'm not doing time qualifying. So, and then yep, right there. Uh, There you go. Set to expert difficulty, so there is no driving assistance, there's no stability help, there's no steering help, no off-throttle oversteer, no braking oversteer, wall avoidance 0. So if we hit stuff, we hit stuff. But here we go, we're starting back on 39th, didn't qualify like I said. I get a variety of views and everything like that, but one problem that I noticed that I think that they'll probably have fixed in this game, we're going to go ahead and roll back just a little bit. So right about here, I hit the brakes. I know that I don't have any visual indicators on or anything like that, but I hit the brakes, and the car actually jumps and starts to turn towards the outside wall. I know y'all can't see my cursor, but yeah, the car. I hit the brakes and it wants to turn to the outside wall. Um, to me, I would kind of think that it would want to turn to the inside or so. I don't know. I don't know if there's like any way to adjust brake bias or so. Can't do it in this game, but yeah, I mean, fourth gear. So similar to Jeff's video, like fifth gear in the brakes down to fourth. Now the AI, the it's going to be interesting. I'm gonna be. It's going to be interesting to see what the AI is like. Now, we're looking here and in the back of the field. Now, I know it's only lap 2, but like you can see further up ahead, there's a little bit of like spacing between the drivers and probably like 15th or so. Um, but everyone else from like 20th on back is all bunched up like it's a pack race. Hopefully that is something that they smooth out. There you go. The car is starting to pivot to the outside when I hopped onto the brakes. Change to the other roof cam. Take a look at everything there. I'm getting a better run to the inside and everything like that, but there it goes. Like, I guess the way that I can say is that I'd have to look at the telemetry of like actual races, and maybe a lot of y'all can be able to have some of this figured out too, but you know, I don't exactly know as to how slow you need to be getting around uh, this track in either game for that matter for it to be accurate. Um, but I'll definitely say like minus really the fifth gear and everything like that. Like the next gen car did not feel massively different from the uh, Gen 6 car uh, in NASCAR Heat 5. Now, one thing I am also curious about, and I'll go ahead and fast forward a little bit here. Remember, this is stage 1 and everything like that. Let's speed up a little bit. So we're getting to the end. Yeah, like right here, like we're battling for 16th right now. And right ahead of there, where Cindric is, that's where it starts. Like, it's a little bit bunched up. Like, right about here is where it starts to get a little bit closer to what we were seeing in NASCAR 25's footage. Oh, this is actually a perfect example. All right, so we're going to scroll this back a little bit. So I bump into Chastain. Chastain has a little bit of tire smoke. Bump into Suarez. Suarez gets big squirrely. He manages to catch it. Like, all right, so we'll just go with this last lap. I don't know exactly how these cars are supposed to handle when they get bumped. I guess from what I can see, that they are supposed to remain pretty stable, like solid as a brick, and keep going. I don't. If it's accurate, that's all I care about. I don't necessarily want the AI swapping ends, and this is one thing that I am a little disappointed by. So from what I can tell, I I never liked this in the Heat games, and in addition, I think that this is the case in NASCAR 25. I hate that they won't let you run back to the finish line, even if you're not going to be getting stage points and everything like that. Like, I know that a caution is supposed to come out, but I don't know. I mean, we'll scrub it back a little bit. Like, yeah, right here. That works. AI takes over our car, pulls up this screen, but we are this distance to here to get from the finish line to where the front nose of the car is. Not crazy about AI taking over that. Never have been. I know that it's a caution flag, but I do kind of wish that they would let you race it out just a little bit, because you're coming to the finish line and also the caution. Like the the AI can take over after I've crossed the line, but if you're battling, I don't know, like looking on the data sheet a little bit, like okay, Tyler Reddick is plus 0.8 ahead of us, but Eric Almirola is only negative 0.2. Like he's right there. Uh, it's not going to matter so much as to where you necessarily finish for the stage, because they'll let you finish it out so long as you're in 10th or better. Um, but it does kind of matter as to what your restart is going to be, you know? Hopefully that makes sense. So I am a little disappointed by that. It does look like the game takes over if you're not in the top 10, which is a move over from the Heat games and everything like that to here. But it's fine. Like I get it, but I just like to be in a little bit more control. That's all. Uh, actually pause this real quick. The UI and everything like that for the NASCAR 25, at least for pitting stuff and everything with that, is a little bit better. It's nicer looking. I don't know what all the options are, unfortunately. I can't really tell from that. Um, I think I think there was something that D Gooden made a statement on. It sounds like you can not pit for left side tires. Not many people are. Hold on. Not many people are necessarily going to pit for left side tires. I get that, but it is a nice option at least. Um, Go in, get left sides. You can save a little bit more time and everything like that. Now something that I do hope that they kind of figure out a little bit, and this might be on a damage multiplier slash difficulty side sort of stuff. Um, okay, yeah, we bumped into a couple of cars, but 2 seconds to repair things. Like, yeah, I hope that's not a holdover from the Heat games to this. Um, any other stuff like okay, like let's compare a little bit to like the NASCAR Thunder stuff. So in NASCAR Thunder 2003, you could be able to turn left and right side tires on and off independently. You didn't have to cycle through the menu, where it's four tires, right sides, left sides, or off, or none, whatever it would be called. You could do repairs. You could do adjustments on your wedge. You could pick how much. You could pick and choose how much fuel you wanted on the car. And you kind of had to calculate. Well, no, it did actually calculate it out. So it only gave you a few options, like you know, uh, full tank, half a tank, which is like 16.5 in some cases. Low fuel, which is like 5.5, and then no fuel, which is 0. Um, I guess the few things that I kind of think about is, and then tire pressure. I forgot tire pressure you could adjust, but it would adjust the tire pressure on all four corners, which is not how a NASCAR would run. Um, I think I think the best way to describe it, and something that the game, if they're going for accuracy and everything like that, they're going to need to explain this. Um, it's a combination of things. Number one, fuel is fuel. Because I do kind of wish, and this is where actually like the old like PlayStation 1 EA games actually kind of got it a little right. Um, in the case of a gas and go situation, um, if you wanted to have that in the older EA games, you held down a button and you would have pit crew man appear and he would start filling up the car. The moment that you let go, pitman would disappear. You press the button again, he'd appear. You could manually put in, depending on how long you held the button down, how much fuel that you wanted. In the EA PS2 games, it's you have four selections of fuel options, but you do not get to dictate as to how much fuel that would be and how long it would be. And unfortunately, it kind of works in the same way with Heat 5. You can do 2 cans, a can and a half, 1 can, half can, no fuel. It'd be kind of nice that on one hand, if you wanted to go for 2 cans and lock it in and guarantee, you could set that to that. Um, even like even NASCAR Racing 2003 season, which I love, that game has a limitation in regards to you can do splash, you can do half a can and a half, 2 cans maximum, or no fuel at all. So it is also on a selection based setup. Um, I'm gonna be honest, if I wanted to only pit and get like 5 seconds worth of fuel, if I'm doing a splash and go, it'd be kind of nice to have a button mapped out uh, to do that myself. Now, if I want to guarantee that I've got 2 cans in the car, okay, you could have a dial. Um, if you swipe this over to like splash, that's where you could possibly take control and be like, okay, I'm gonna hold this button down and it engages as long as I need it to. The moment that I let off, like that's the end of it. You know, I think that actually could be a decent quality of life feature. I don't think that would be implemented necessarily in 25, but let's say that's something in 26. Like, I don't know what the rules are necessarily in NASCAR nowadays, whether you need to have, um, whether it's stringently set to half a can, a whole can and a half, 2 cans, whatever the case is. But if you're going for a splash and go, I mean, I think you can still do it in regards to bring the car into the pit box, have the fuel man get on it, dump the fuel in for 3 seconds, and then pull it out and then go. Yeah, I'm really, really thinking here on all that. That would be interesting to kind of think about. I'd have to. It'd be kind of interesting to go through the NASCAR rules on all that. Repair. I mean, like that really depends. I don't know how the best way to put it all is because I'm not crazy about the next gen. I like it in certain ways and I hate it in other ways, but the general mood with the next gen for me is that it's kind of amazing as to how robust it is when it can take certain hits that so much of the car's body is made out of composite material that you hit a wall or so, you're just replacing a panel, or you dent something a little bit and you can pop it out. Now, the car has been changed to take more of a crumple zone and everything like that between the first iteration in 2022 to the second generation in 2023, 2024. Um, because the cars was too stiff, like there wasn't enough give when you crushed in the front of the car and backed in the back of the car into the wall or anything like that. And it's what we saw with Kurt Busch. Repairs, I don't know. Like, I don't think that, unfortunately, like, how's the best way I can say this? On one hand, I don't necessarily want the iRacing damage model per se. I think that at least as a starting point, or if you maybe set out a lower, maybe this is a slider like damage multiplier or so. Um, that's the best way I can say this. I know that crashing the next gen car in iRacing is very, very unforgiving to a frustrating extent. Um, from my time when I've played iRacing and everything like that, which is not much. Um, I'll actually get some iRacing up here in a little bit. I can sort of show some stuff. We'll have to go to a different track because I do not have worldwide technology, but that's beside the point. Um, as I think about it, like I don't want the game to be too easy on the damage. I want the damage to be as best accurate as it can be. I don't want it to like be too easy to knock the toe out, so to speak, unless you are asking for that type of realism. I think that's generally what I'm trying to get at. If you have a lower setting, or if you prefer to make the car a little bit more sturdy, you could have a slider down in terms of damage accuracy that if you hit the outside wall, you're not likely to have a totaling break. But at the exact same time, if you hit the wall hard enough, you're gonna break the toe link, and you're gonna have to go into the pits and everything like that. And a repair for a toe link is not going to take 2 seconds. They just don't. You don't magic cadabra a repair like that. You break the toe link, you are gonna be in the pits for quite a while. So anyway, there's that. I'm actually gonna get back to some of the car adjustments too. So um, I haven't seen a lot of stuff, at least in regards to hit options that you have. This is actually where they're going to need to explain things a lot more. With the modern car, to what I understand, you can mess with the. I think that there's still a track bar in the car. Maybe. I think you can mess with. I think there still is a track bar, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. Either after this video finishes, or if you're watching now live. Um, I think that there may be still a track bar. I'm not so sure on that because of the independent suspension. But I do know that you can adjust the brake bias. And this is actually something that the NASCAR Technics games actually got right. Was you could adjust the brake bias on the fly mid-race. And I'm actually surprised that that control feature has not been a thing since those games. Um, and that's where NASCAR 25 is going to have to explain itself if that is an option. Like they 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 need to have a little bit of a descriptor as to um, based off of what you can potentially control mid race, what does doing X do to the car? Because I think that that's kind of important. Um, I think back with how I do the NR 2003 stuff, and I gotta be honest with you, like looking at these options here, tape, okay, I sort of understand that. I'm very certain that you can still mess with grill tape in the next gen car, but grill tape is meant to both allow your car to cut through the air better, but at the potential risk of having your radiator die on you or potentially having the engine blow up. So, what you may gain in frontal downforce and everything in the draft or on an independent run uh, also does run the risk of expiring your engine. This is a measure. This is a car adjustment that has been featured in the Heat games. It has existed in NASCAR racing games. I think actually for quite a while. Definitely, it's in NASCAR Racing 2003 season, and I'm very certain it was in some of its predecessors, like NASCAR Racing 2002 season, probably NASCAR Racing 4, if I had to guess. It's a feature that has always been available. So hopefully, tape adjustment, especially on pit lane, like I hope that there's a descriptor there for people who are new into the sport. Uh, but they also it also is accurate. Like you put the tape up way too high, you run the risk of blowing the engine. Pretty accurate, I would hope so. Wedge. I mean, to me, wedge is just nothing but tight or loose. I don't know how that exactly works. And if I can't figure it out after have a full comprehension of it. Uh, as someone who has watched the sport for 20 something years now, they probably should have something there that if that's something that you can touch, if that's something that you can mess with, adding wedge or adding or subtracting track bar, that's something that they need to have an explanation on. What does it do and how do you use it? And it would also help too, like, because I figured it out from this, like, from what I understand, at least on the NR 2003 side, is that if you're running in a race and you mess with the track bar, it lifts the right rear part of the car higher and lower. If you raise it higher, it pushes the nose a little bit more into the track, which isn't great sometimes, but it also helps with your steering. Um, they kind of need to have an explanation as to what these adjustments do. Uh, because if you're looking for, especially considering that you can, hey, yeah, the fact that you can be able to do garage adjustments. I forgot to mention that the garage adjustments to be able to build your own car setup, and based off of what I've heard, car setups, especially on these higher AI difficulty adjustments, is going to be key. I hope that they have a good explanation as to what each thing does, so you can balance out, and then subsequently, like, whatever you can adjust when you go into the pits. Like, if it's pushing way too tight, okay, maybe you need to add track bar, and maybe you need to take out some wedge. Maybe you need the nose to seal down a little bit more, so add a little bit of tape, but you also need to lift up the rear end a little bit more. And that also goes for tire pressures too. Like, I look at this and, looking at the wear pattern. Now I'm racing really hard in Heat 5, but it's like left front 75% wear. Okay, that makes sense. Left front closest to the inside of the track, definitely putting a lot of strain on it. Right front 87%. Okay. Um, Now there's a difference of 16. Yeah, there we go, there we go. Yeah, left front, right front. There's a difference in 16 PSI. At least I'm led to believe that this is measured in PSIs. There's a 16 uh, PSI difference between your left front and your right front. I really hope that that matters, and I hope that they explain it, because if you come into the pits and you need to make adjustments there, it'd be kind of good to know what exactly that does. You go to the left rear and right rear. Like, left rear is at 69% at 14 pounds of PSI. Right rear is at 56%, and that's at 29.5. And just to let you know, too, I did not mess with any of these settings. The only thing that I ever did was I always repaired the car, even if it didn't have damage. Oh no, I take that back. If the car had damage and it needed repaired, I went ahead and did it. And then for tires, I always went for 4 because 4 is going to be better than 2. Always went for the most amount of fuel because looking at stage 2 fuel estimate, 11 laps, estimated fuel after pit, 19 laps. Um, Packet full of fuel, might as well. I didn't touch anything in regards to the tape, the wedge, or the tire pressure, but it does leave me curious, and I'll say this even for the NR 2003 side. And where it's kind of critical. Like, you need to let people know what these adjustments are. Why? Okay, so why is the right rear tire, why is that wearing out more than the rest of the tires, My left rear, which is tucked closer to the inside of the racetrack, there is, I'm going to be a little bit off. 13, I think. Oh, I got it right on. 13 percentage points of difference. So why exactly is the right rear? Why is the right rear 13% better than my why is my left rear 13% better than my right rear? What could I potentially do? Like, let's say that we run really, really long into a green flag run, and let's say that you have the settings adjusted more. Okay, am I going to run the risk of blowing out a right rear tire? Like, what can I do to sort of even that out? And what could I do that probably puts a little bit more grind to the left rear potentially, but gives a little bit more life back to the right rear? And it goes back to what I was saying too with tire pressure and everything like that, and the track bar and all that stuff. Like, I can see within NR 2003 as an example, like, um, this stuff wears differently on tread patterns and everything like that. Like the track and how you're driving it, it's all four tires can be affected by wear and everything like that. This is stuff that I really hope that they will explain to newcomers to the sport. And I gotta be honest, even with seasoned veterans, I think that unless you would unless you were like really, really hard into the paint in terms of this is how these cars work, and you understand all the technical stuff to it. Some of us are diehard fans of watching the sport, but we don't fully understand the technical aspect of it. But we know some areas of technical specification, but we don't know the full story of it. Like, we don't get it. I really, really hope that for the sake of everyone, with these sliders and everything like that, I hope that there's a good explanation as to how do these things work in the balance and everything like that. You know, it, it's just kind of crazy to me. I know that NR 2003 is more directed as a sim, which I get. I really, really do get it. Um, but honestly, there's a part of me that's like, even as much as I love that game, there's there's some info that's available within the game, but I kind of wish that there was more stuff to understand there, because I don't know exactly what the online scene for this for NASCAR 25 is going to be, but really hope that if you allow for open setups and everything like that, if the game allows for open setups or open adjustments, I kind of hope that people have a good balance of competition and understanding uh, as to what is involved. So, like I said, I'm also, like I said earlier, and I'm going to repeat it, I'm actually kind of surprised that there is no in-game, in-car brake bias adjustment. That was something that the Texas games actually got right when they had the NASCAR license. I don't know if it was felt exactly correctly, but I understand the process of it. I mean, hell, Gran Turismo 7 on the PS4 and PS5, uh, they have a brake bias adjustment. That's the hilarious thing. And you can feel it. You can feel it and you understand it. So I just, to me, I hope that if in the pursuit of being accurate, I hope that they have enough thought that you can be able to adjust some of these things either in the pits at worst, or what is appropriately in car, you can adjust that. But yeah, I actually didn't really think about that. So I'm going to continue my video and I'm going to speed up a little bit. Yeah, I didn't touch anything in regards to that, just straight up. Alright, another thing I wanted to mention, which I'll go ahead and actually do that. So notice how we're going to scroll back actually real quick. Okay, you can see the skybox there, and you can see how pink and light it is. Now, you got lights on and everything like that, but let's go to stage 2. There we go, there we go. The sky has now shifted to a blue color haze. There's plenty of clouds. There's a little bit of pinkish purple off in my right corner, going off into turns 3 and 4. You go down the front stretch and everything like that. Okay, I bumped Christopher Bell. I smacked the wall. Smacked the wall there. That probably would have been door damage, if anything. Not likely to have toe link damage. Throw it 3 wide there. Try to get around Bell. I back out of the throttle a little bit. Gun it back in. Now I'm following Tyler Reddick. This is where, like I said, this is where it's a little even. You do have to shift to be able to get, you have to shift down to 4th in order to get through the turns and everything. But also, I don't know if the speeds are 100% accurate. And like I said, I'm working off a NASCAR Heat 5 here. I tried running a lap with the different cameras and I could not do it. I need to either have my eyes over the wheels with the roof cam or cockpit cam. I'm fine with that. But we're going here for Reddick and the cockpit cam. Like I said, I mean, I gotta be honest with you. NASCAR 25 and Heat 5, I like the interior of it. I like the 2 options for the cockpit cam, which the closer one definitely feels a little bit more closer to like an iRacing experience, and that's fine. That's totally fine. I personally like being able to see my gloves. I like being able to see my steering wheel. I like that detail there, because of how I sit. Okay, we have a random caution. Yeah, I did not pit that time because we're going to be getting close to the end of the stage anyway. Go ahead and raffle up for positions. Switch it back to the roof cam and everything like that. Gun it. And, I mean, I forgot to shift, so it topped out a little bit. Something happened to Denny Hamlin there, but he just dropped back. Like, I don't know how to say it. Like, I really hope that the NASCAR 25, like, the car is, like, both appropriately stuck to the ground, but also, like, can move, you know? If you get a bump or anything like that, like, if it's supposed to upset the car, it properly upsets the car. Now, something that I was going to say is that we do have some footage out there online. I think it was from some of the guys who got to run with the Daytona race. I can't exactly remember everyone who got to go out. But the AI for wrecking, it was, I'll give you a description of it. The AI got hit like 3 or 4 times by the player car, and they finally got turned sideways, but it was an awkward sideways turn, as Justin Allgaier, who's on the inside, gets turned up into the player, turned by the player car, and it feels like it takes forever for them to lose it. And it feels like from that video, y'all will have to look it up independently. It feels like the second hit would have actually made the car lose it. Now I'm trying really hard to I'm trying to tuck the car also down into the inside line and everything as close as I can get to the rumble strip. But I'm also making very aggressive moves. Like, we're sitting 9th place right now. Kevin Harvick's right in front of us. Chase Elliott's right in front of us. Freaking Joey Logano's right in front of us. And I'm doing my best to not lean on the drivers, because I know the AI is a little stupid. But there we go. We go ahead and take 7th and all that. So, caution flag comes out, so we're going to get 7th anyway. Can't fight for Bowman. Can't fight against Chase Elliott. But that did give us stage points. Everyone's going to pit. I'm going to pit. And this should be enough fuel to be able to make it to the end of the race anyway. Okay, now the skybox has turned black. We're in the final stage. I guess I'm curious as to, now, a lot of the earlier gameplay footage, was apparently from a build about 2 months ago. So maybe they've updated this and everything since then. But I am genuinely curious as to if this setup for what the final version of the game is, or even potentially something that can be patched, is I really hope the skybox is accurate. I hope the skybox transitions, because more than anything, if the track is going to adjust, at least for like if they can figure that out. If the track adjusts based off of temperature and sunlight and everything like that, like that's gonna matter. You're gonna have to make adjustments. Or you're likely gonna have to make adjustments. Like I said, I did not make a single adjustment to my car this entire race. Did not adjust the tire pressure, did not adjust the wedge, didn't do anything. And my car feels the same from the beginning to end and has about the same amount of grip, minus when I've pushed the tires and just worn them out. But that's just being aggressive. Like we're in the top 10, we're hunting for the top 5. So I kind of do hope that they kind of engineer that out up a little bit to make it better. Uh, and then in turn, that's also going to need explanation. Hey, the track is cooler. How exactly do I work with that? What do I need to adjust? But moreover, I also think about how for the Coca-Cola 600, if I was running lows, that's actually not a bad track that I'd probably want to do the iRacing stuff on here in a minute. Um, I think about lows with the Coke 600. That race starts in the evening. I've been to the Coke 600. I went this year in 2025. The race starts at like 6 p.m. and I don't think that the race ended until like 10:30, 11 o'clock almost. And it was dark. It was dark. So how, yeah, how does that all work together? Now, I think overall that the reflections and everything off the bodies of the car actually looks a lot better, a lot cleaner, a lot crisper than NASCAR Heat 5 um, did. And I think that we are going to get to see that visual spectacle. But the environment and everything else like that's kind of important too. We've had day to night transitions in a handful of NASCAR games, and it's disappointing when it's not there. I don't really understand how it's not possible to do that in the first place, but yeah. All right. I am gonna go ahead and stop this. I will actually go ahead and upload this footage to the YouTube channel, um, just for funsies and everything like that, so you guys can sort of see all that stuff. I am gonna switch over to iRacing, so do give me a moment. Okay, here we go. Um, Alright. So there we go with that. You can hear the engine, and you should be able to at least. Too much damage, we're done. So let's get out. Yeah. Look at this. So, let's roll back the camera. And let's see if we can get a different angle of this. Oh, didn't mean to go that far, but Rear chase. Okay. Okay, this actually works. So we'll speed up the camera and we'll look at this. So we're running laps, running laps, running laps. Yeah, right there, right there, right there. We clip the wall right here. And that gives us some damage. That gives us a little bit of damage to the front. You can see some of the scratching and everything there. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with that. But yeah, it did a little bit of body panel damage and everything like that. Let's see what else. Do we have anything else? We'll go back. Yeah, there we go. I mean, that's not perfect, but it's okay. You look at the damage and everything like that. Like there's scraping and everything like that on the front fascia, but there's no tire deflation or anything like that. There's nothing broken there, not yet at least. Now I will say I think that there would probably be some actual body panel damage on the nose. But that's like this is iRacing, that's the thing. Yep, right there. That's where we make contact. So, and this is actually perfect, at least for what we're seeing there. So, go into the wall, hard hit. We've damaged the hood. You can see the louver is kind of messed up and everything like that, or the air vents. You see the fender is popped off. It's no longer flush with the body panel. And then especially you look at the wheel, that implies that the toe link is damaged and the wheel assembly is damaged. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like I don't necessarily need it to be so like I guess here's my easier statement. If you do not want this type of realistic damage or this heavy handed of damage, I could see that there could be a slider and all that for how extensive you want the damage to be or how much it will be there. I know that this game is definitely going to be more on the Simcade side, and that's fine. I'm not going to hate the game for that, but I just kind of hope that for more than anything, these cars are not built like tanks. They're built durable, appropriately within reason to what they actually have happened to them. Yeah. Funny thing is, I kind of straightened out the tire and then it got destroyed. Then it still is on the destroyed axis anyway. Yeah. So yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it back to my webcam. I think I'm about done overall. The only other things I can think of is that so apparently there's no burnout celebration if you win a race. That's unfortunate. I am disappointed by that. You get to see your car at the end of pit lane. Like they'll have a little video thing for that. Most likely is going to be a cutscene. Um, you know, there's questions about the damage model. I already kind of talked about that. And I think the general mood is, and I'm okay with it for the most part, is that a lot of people are kind of saying like this is the base game, like this is the foundation, and a lot of features would be added. Um, some people are hoping they'll come in like DLC or patches, was there patches, I would think. Or this will be something that can be implemented in the next game. But there's a part of me that's a little concerned about that, and it's more in regards to this. I'm fine if this is the base and everything like that, but it does make me kind of wonder exactly how much lead-in time do they need to have the game go gold, have it be sold, which, by the way, I'll get into this in just a minute. There is no physical copy of this game, it is digital only. So you can only get it digitally on the PlayStation Store. You can only get it digitally on the Xbox Store. You can only get it digitally on Steam, which was kind of the only option for PC players in the first place. But beside the point, there is no physical release of this game, which is a little disappointing. I will admit, even though that I do not have a console to play the game on, for anyone that wants to collect the game, I get the disappointment. Um, but it just kind of makes me wonder, like, what they have to adjust between game one and game two. So NASCAR 25 to NASCAR 26. Um, what they have to do to potentially make the damage model more correct, if that's what they have to do. Make the physics of body deformation more accurate. How much time is that going to take to work on? Mechanical part failures or anything like that. Like, is that is that something that can be simulated but still like 80, that it's not too overwhelming? You know what I mean? Um, I guess the way that I kind of put it all together is that I just hope that they have enough time to do uh to take in the fan feedback, look at it and see reasonably how can they implement it along with other features that are possibly going to be there for game 2 for NASCAR 26. A feature that I am starting to think is probably not going to happen is likely the whatever their version of the um, whatever their version of a lightning challenge would be, whatever you want to call it. I don't think that this is probably happening in this game, and I don't know if that's something that they're interested in doing. Um, Personally, I love lightning challenges or whatever the equivalency is. I just kind of refer to them colloquially as lightning challenges because that's where they started in. I like having moments where I get to be Ryan Blaney, and I either need to uh, figure out how to repeat this win, or hey, the car and I was running, and real life he ends up finishing second or third. Take the Homestead moment from last year between him and Tyler Reddick. Uh, that would be so fun to go and recreate and try to change the turn of the tide and beat Tyler Reddick. Either maybe you need to hold it into the gas a little bit longer, or maybe you get 2 laps. I think it was a green white checker effectively. Maybe you need to have a better restart than Tyler Reddick did, or anything else like that. Like, the finish was crazy, and Blaney almost won, and he got outdriven. Okay, do a lightning challenge of that. Let me see how I can change the tide of it. And I know that, at least in regards to the validity of it, like, well, why do lightning challenges if you're not going to get a reward out of that? Like, potentially it's only a cutscene, or maybe it's I don't know, unlocking an additional sponsor or uh, create a car or something like that. Like I do kind of see the undercut of the importance of it. Even by the time it was in the Heat games, it was a little bit disappointing, but I still like that challenge. I think that it's important, and that's the best way that I can put this. I think that at least as to what a lightning challenge means to me is it gives me a little bit of a moment to look at a driver's career too and potentially change my mind on them a little bit. I look at we'll use the classic and difficult Johnny Benson Lightning Challenge from NASCAR Thunder 2004, where you have to run at Rockingham while you are running out of tires, you're running out of fuel, and I think you're holding off like Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, and maybe Mark Martin or something like that. Like, is that one very difficult? Oh, yeah, it absolutely is. But think about how it goes in real life for Johnny Benson. There is no redo of this. There is no restart. Like he had to drive the hell out of his car, and that dude only got one Cup Series win. It goes to show how hard it is to win in the Cup Series and everything. Like you get what I'm saying? And that moment in time is you get a moment to see from a different driver's perspective, maybe a driver that you don't know much about. You get to see what their perspective is and maybe what was a quote unquote win for them that day, a great finish, is what they get compared to like Joey Logano winning at, I don't know, like Loudon or something like that. Like, okay, you're Todd Gilliland and you need to get into the top 10 with 5 laps to go. You're starting 15th. Okay, how do you do that? You know, I think that that's rather fun, and it allows you to look at drivers that potentially are overlooked. You have the fan favorites. Let's kind of go through the field and see what everyone can do. Let's do the same for lower series and everything like that. Like, I really only follow the ThorSport drivers, but honest to God, like, there's a few drivers that probably don't get enough screen time or don't get talked about enough or um, actually had great runs and everything like that that we don't really get to see because the broadcast didn't cover it. But you could have a lightning challenge where that is the focus, and that can honestly get you into being a fan of, or at least rooting for a different driver, or looking at them from a different perspective. Um, that's at least my emotional attachment to it. That's something that I like about it. So, like I said, I don't think that's going to be a feature, but I do kind of hope that it goes that way. I don't really know what to say, at least in regards to career or paint booth. I've heard that the paint booth is more similar to the Technics game, so it's not. You have 10 presets and uh, 4 number font options and 12 sponsorship choices, and that's it. I will. I actually am a little curious per se as to if they're going to do this for PC. My hope is yes. Like I hope that this is pretty universal across the board that console players also get what PCs getting as best as they can, and vice versa. PC players are getting what console players can get. Um, certainly because you can always just hook up a gamepad to your PC and there you go, easy. But yeah, um, how do I feel about it all? My general mood is I'm gonna kind of let the console players get to figure out what they think about NASCAR 25 first before I get it. I don't really have a choice in the matter. Um, I want to get this game, really, really do. I think that the best way that I can describe it is that I kind of want something that can be arcadey and a little bit forgiving, but don't make it so arcadey that it makes it easy. That makes sense. Um, Career mode, I just have this weird feeling that it's gonna feel about the same with just a lot more gloss put on it in a good way. Um, feel like it is going to have a very similar feel to the Heat games. I really uh, Heat and maybe a little bit of Daytona. I'm really hoping, honest to God, really hope that. Hmm, I guess if career mode is going to be kind of stuck with you just owning your own car, and maybe you get fight opportunities with other teams, like kind of hope that it's like a full blown switch or so. Like I don't even know how to describe it. I feel like if you want to go the route of driver by hire, you get about what it would be given to a regular driver. Like, how's the best way I can describe this? If you're driving for Thorsport and you take over the 98 for Ty Majeski, like you get hired. Um, my hope would be is that you can get the stats and have less of the worry financially, car engine wise, like all of that stuff, um, where you're just effectively making money per se, but you can use that money to then invest into your team. You're a driver by hire, and you're making your money driving for a different team. Um, but if you're stuck to where you are owning your own team, and I know it's a video game, I just have this really weird feeling that I kind of hate to bring in the real world drama here, but I don't exactly know how easy it's going to be to buy a NASCAR Cup Series team. Like, are you going to have to gather up like $30 million in career earnings in order to buy one charter? Do you have to worry about the amount of cars that you have purchased? Does it have a cap? I look back on the NASCAR Thunder career mode, which I've been doing, and I could have just about as many engines as I wanted to the wayside. I could have as many chassis as I wanted to the wayside, as long as I had the money to keep building them. The research and development and everything like that. Yeah, it was incredibly expensive. Like, uh, either half to quarter to a full $1 million, sometimes $3 million if you wanted to speed things up. Like, you know, I guess my general curiosity is what exactly is the career mode going to be like, and how is this exactly going to be directed? Because just I, I don't know how possible it is to do the mom and pop method of racing in this circumstance. So I do want to have the option of getting hired on by a team, but at the same time, I don't want to be necessarily stuck to just a team and have things like taking care of your employees at your home shop or something like that. Like none of that matters. It blanks it out, and you don't have to worry about that. I also kind of wonder, can you do a hire driver like you could in the NASCAR EA games from NASCAR 05 Chase of the Cup onward? If you had enough money, you could, start your own team and everything like that. You could hire drivers. You could effectively be a Rick Hendrick, hire a driver. You could probably hire the highest rated driver. Put one in your cup car, one in your bush car, one in your truck, and one in your wheeler modified. And hope, sort of hope, that they had the skills to be able to go out and win races and championships for you, versus you having to do it yourself. Uh, I think the AI was kind of stupid sometimes because I've done it before, and apparently, yeah, no, the AI is not that smart. Even when you give them the world, like the best rated, perfect everything. Um, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know really what to say. Um, Career mode is going to be interesting. I know that it's going to have Dale Jr. and TJ Majors, uh, Dirty mode download, Dale Jr. downloads type stuff, um, Dirty mode media, all that stuff, and it's going to be interesting. Um, but I kind of hope that the path that you want to take is your own. I don't necessarily want to be pushed or pigeonholed into one particular pathway. I want to certainly have options. Um, as I think about it, probably now that I think about it, the higher driver point is probably not going to happen. Because how in the world are the cutscenes going to work when you've got, I don't know, Jack Smith driving your Busch Series car, and you're driving your Cup Series car, and like, how does that all work out? I don't know. The other curiosity is can you, if you buy like an Xfinity car, for an example, can you later on potentially sell that team, sell that Xfinity garage, and go and just focus on your Cup efforts? Because maybe it's too expensive to run both, or maybe one area is more profitable than another area. Maybe you need that money to be able to move on to the next series. As I even think about this, like, okay, by season 6 or whatever, what the hell do I need an ARCA car for? I'm not going back down to ARCA. Like, what's the point of that? Moreover, I kind of wonder, at least in terms of the cutscenes, like, oh hey, does the cycle of cutscenes in terms of events that happen, like, is there one when you win? I'm sure that there's one when you win one Cup Series championship. But what, and although this end, what about the lower series? More to the point, like, okay, what if you win 2 Cup Series championships? What if you win 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? What if you tied Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt, and Richard Petty for most NASCAR championships? And let's just say, out of craziness, you break the glass ceiling and you get 8 NASCAR Cup Series championships. Or does that also trickle down to the lower series? Like, uh, you know, what if you win 8 NASCAR Busch Series championships? Actually, I have no idea now that I think about it. Who has the most Busch Series championships? I actually have no idea on that. Now that I think about it, I think that it's probably like 3, and it's probably Kevin Harvick that would have that, but I don't know. I know a lot more drivers have 2 versus 3. That would be interesting. I kind of wonder if they track that. But have a cutscene for that. What about if you go truck racing? Actually, what if you scale it in a different way? What if you get to the Cup Series, don't do well, and you go to the Truck Series like a Von Hornaday type, and you just dominate the series? I think Von's got the most amount of truck championships at 4. What if you beat his record and win 5? What if you win 7? Like, I kind of hope that that is available. There is one thing that I have to praise. Elite Precision 29 actually kind of pointed this out, with some of the menu stuff in career mode, for what little was seen. Oh my god, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It looks to me that in terms of stat tracking and everything like that, in terms of starts, in terms of top fives, in terms of top tens, in terms of poles, in terms of average finish, in terms of average start, in terms of all this stuff. Hopefully, it includes points finish at the end of the season. Not only does apparently that data is that viewable per series, but it looks like there's an overall one where you could see every single series that you ran on, and it also looks like that that data packs on itself. So if you run 5 seasons in Arca or whatever, you get to see those 5 seasons. You transition over to the Xfinity series, you get to see however many seasons you ran there. And they do also total everything up at the top, I think, that, hey, you drove, say, 16 seasons in the Xfinity series and won 12 championships and won 130 races or whatever. Um, that should all be tracked, and it looks like it's going to save year after year after year. So the good news is if that is going to be the case, I'm so happy, at least in that regard, because that is what I was asking for NASCAR, uh, from something that existed within the EA games with NASCAR Thunder 2003 and Thunder 2004. I want to be able to see how did I do in each series, and I don't want those stats to be reset every single year. It provides me and it gives me the opportunity that I can track a lot of these stats without needing to put them in an external spreadsheet, and go that way. I kind of hope that it's even more granular, like, oh, hey, what's your average finish at Atlanta? What is your average finish at North Wilkesboro? What's your worst finish at Darlington? Like, stuff like that. Like, I hope that that data can be even more granularly found. And I know when I'm half okay and half kind of disappointed that unfortunately there is no real silly season. You won't necessarily have cases where, like, I don't know, a Brendan Butterbean Queen, going from the ARCA series to eventually getting a Cup Series ride and taking over Christopher Bell's car and becoming a 2-time NASCAR champion or something like that. Like, there's nothing there, and that is disappointing. I get it, but it is still disappointing. But I do kind of hope that we can also see, all right, well, hey, you know, at the end of it, if you didn't win the title, well, who did? Did Alex Bowman win the 2027 NASCAR Cup Series championship? And, oh, did Bowman have like 7 wins or whatever? What was his average finish? A wall of, quote unquote, a wall of champions, a list of champions. I'd love to be able to see that from series to series, year by year, even if there is no silly season. I kind of hope that's available to look at, and you can see from the wall of champions, like, what their stats were. Also, it's a little bit of a yes and no. Another piece of the user interface that I gotta applaud it on is that you can see where the driver was born, you can see where their hometown is, you can see their age, you can see their championships, and I think you can see their career wins. And I don't know if they're going to update that after the season ends, like with a patch, to give updated results. Like, let's say that Ryan Blaney, for example, like, wins the championship. Is he going to be notarized as a 2-time NASCAR champion with, let's say that he gets up to 18 wins? I could see him winning Talladega and winning Martinsville. Um, I think he just got win number 16, I believe, recently. Um, which, by the way, Ryan Blaney now holds the most wins for the driver from Ohio in NASCAR, in the Cup Series, that is. Highest previous was the late Tim Richmond. Very interesting. I did kind of wish that, similar to NASCAR Thunder 2003 and Thunder 04, you could hit a button that would be able to pull up more of that, like, granular data. You could, quote unquote, racing reference, the drivers' data, so you could see what year they were a rookie, how many career top fives they have, how many career top tens they have, stuff like that. And I'd kind of like to see that something existing in career mode as well, like I said earlier. When you see the wall of champions, you can be able to look at that too. But I'll take what I can get. It's just something that I'm a bit of a stats nerd sometimes. I kind of want to see that implemented directly into the game rather than fully having to rely on going out onto the internet or going onto my phone and seeing what that info is. That's just me. Um, I think, if anything, um, I do hope that the NASCAR 26, whenever that comes out, for the successor of this game, I do hope that it stays relatively competitive. I having a really bad feeling that the way that video games are going is we're gonna get priced out a decent amount in order. Uh, we're gonna get priced out from playing a lot of these new games, or the hardware specifications are gonna be so high that it's gonna be harder and harder for people to like continue on as the technology gets better with these games, with more features and everything like that. So yeah, a lot to say, on all of that. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I'm interested. Uh, my general suggestion is keep an eye on the console players. Let's see what they have to say and see what their positives and negatives are. Uh, maybe for us PC players, by the time the game comes out in November, maybe there'll be some like patches that are, uh, already set up, just coded appropriately, so that effectively there is a day one patch that fixes a lot of the initial issues. And that is a very quick transfer over between this is what we did on the PS5 and updated it here. This is what we did on the Xbox. We updated it here. Oh, hey, you're a PC player and you're a month late into this game because it's now available. Hey, here's this stuff. Oh, you got the DLC. You got the gold edition, or you got the season pass. Okay, like I'm sure that they're gonna follow whatever the release schedule is. So we'll probably have content for November, December, January, February, and maybe March. But it all would probably cycle back into the 2025 season, not necessarily 2026, unless they include the concept for Daytona as well. Like that would kind of be an existing thing. Um, Beside the point, I'm interested. There's a few features and there's a few things I'm a little disappointed that won't be here. But I think the general idea is that so long as this is a great, solid foundation, and so long as that feels good, I can deal with waiting for the next game to hopefully have a lot of these features. Um, and there's a good chance I would probably come back to this game if it's solid. I'm sure that the successors, if they're good, I will probably be playing them a lot more. Uh, in the same line of thinking, how I barely play eventually NASCAR 2001 on the PS2, but I play a lot of NASCAR Thunder 2003. And then I played a little bit less of Thunder 2004, but it still has a great space in my heart for it. So, I think it's going to be interesting to see how all this comes together. Um, like I said, October 14th, that is when the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, that is the release date for those systems. And then PC, it comes to Steam on November 11th. And for myself, I'm actually going to go ahead and pop it off here. My Moza R5, my racing wheel, my direct drive wheel. Uh, I have heard word that Moza is supported on NASCAR Heat 5. Not NASCAR Heat 5. It is supported on NASCAR Heat 5. I can get it to work in NASCAR Heat 5. It will be supported in NASCAR 25. Um, and part of what I can tell, the reason why the game got delayed for PC is that they wanted to get as many wheels compatible that everyone could be able to play this game. So yeah, I think that's about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching tonight. I will see you again soon. You all will see me, and we will talk again soon. Be sure to look out on the channel for more stuff regarding NASCAR Thunder 2003 as we are finishing up the career mode. Those we will have effectively 2 in-canon videos that will release. The series will more or less finish on October 10th of 2025. And there might be a bonus episode that will be released later on, possibly a little bit into the winter. And then we'll just kind of wait to see when the game comes out. Like I said, if it's good, I am likely going to pick it up on day one. Or I may wait a little bit. I do kind of want to get the gold edition personally, but don't know what is going to be going on by then. But yeah, so keep an eye out for both stuff that's going on the channel, and then be sure to be prepared. If we get 25, NASCAR 25, we'll be starting a career mode there too. So if you guys enjoy, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will see you again soon.